What's up everybody, it's Critical. I want to talk about something very serious today. In many ways this will probably be the most serious video I've ever made. It's something very near and dear to my heart. And I'm sure many of you are already familiar with the controversy, the conspiracy if you will. I know I'm a little tardy to the party on this subject, but it's the Berenstein vs. Berenstein Bears. Now I'm sure many of you, like me, remember these beloved children's books as the Berenstein Bears. But apparently it's always been the Berenstein Bears by Stan and Jan Berenstein, not Berenstein. And that's just barren bullshit. I know it was Steen because I used to have to write a weekly book report on a different Berenstein Bears book each week, and it was always Steen in my report. And, strangely enough, I used to actually pronounce it Berenstein, but I was constantly corrected by the teacher and my parents saying, "Charlie, take that Brillo pad out of your fucking mouth and say it the correct way or you're not getting food tonight. It is Steen, not Stain." So eventually I learned that it was Steen, and I used to eat Brillo pads, but that's a conspiracy theory for a different day. And the reason I even thought it was Stain to begin with was because I didn't know the sounds E-I-N would make, and it was very close to the ending to Stain, which was A-I-N, and Pain, which was A-I-N, so I thought it would make the same sound. So the fact that they're trying to say it's always been shit-stain bears is just absolute nonsense, because that is absolutely wrong, and that has been drilled into my head that it was never Stain and has always been Steen. Now, let's see where this all started. In 2012, someone made a blog post talking about how they'd come to the realization that it's always been the Berenstein Bears, and they'd talked to everyone they knew, and they always knew it as the Berenstein Bears. And he said the only logical explanation for this is that our universe overlapped with a parallel universe and a lot of very subtle changes occurred, one of them being Steen changed to Stain. However, he neglected to mention that I was also directly affected with this overlapping. I used to have a 9-inch dick, I know that for a fact, but now I'm left with just the standard 6-incher. But that's alright, I guess, because the bigger issue here is this Berenstein Bears issue. And then this really caused a lot of outrage, like a lot of confusion, because the majority of people remember it as the Berenstein Bears. In fact, a very small percentage know it as Stain Bears. So how can so many people have such vivid memories of it being Berenstein and not Berenstain? Well, it's called the Mandela effect, and the Mandela effect is basically when a large number of people have very, very clear memories that they know and are certain have happened, but in reality have not happened. And it gets its name from Nelson Mandela, whom many believe died in prison, when in reality, that is false. So the conspiracy gained traction and got a lot of attention, so much so that the son of Stan and Jan Berenstein commented on the blog post saying, "Hey, come on, pussy farts, cut the monkey business, stop it, you silly sailors. It's always been Berenstain, not Berenstein. They all want to pronounce it Steen, but it's Stain. Ever since I was a kid, they call me Steen. It's Stain, though. Just by applying Occam's razor, it's just you've all misheard it and misread it your whole lives, and you're just dumb people. And Occam's razor is just the simplest solution is the right one. It's that way of thinking. Cut off everything you don't need, you're left with the simplest solution, which is the correct one. So that's the official explanation for this whole debacle, that we've all just misheard or misread it our whole lives, and that we're just wrong. But I don't necessarily believe the parallel universe theory, but I do think there is something awry here, because I know it wasn't Stain. I wouldn't have these memories of me feeling very stupid by saying Stain when it was Steen. It's a fucking complicated situation, and Berenstain fucking sucks as a name. Sounds like a knockoff of the real Berenstein, where the Berenstein Bears get into some shady shit. Berenstein Bears, big honeys about to nut. Berenstein Bears, trouble with the drug cartel. Berenstein Bears, forget their condoms. It's just, that doesn't work. Berenstein Bears sounds like the international celebrated treasure that it is. So I decided to do my own research to try and blow this case wide open, to crack this nut. So I went on Wikipedia to see who published the Berenstein Bears when, and then my plan was to go on archive.org and use the Wayback Machine to go to the publishers' websites from back in the 90s and see when it was what it was listed as, whether it was Steen or Stain on their catalogs. But I discovered something very disturbing, something that I'm pretty sure has landed me on a list, and I wouldn't be surprised if book assassins came to my door right now. So it turns out, if you search any of the publishers' websites, any of them, and you go through their catalog, you will not find the Berenstein or Berenstein Bears anywhere on there, which is bizarre considering in the 90s and early 2000s, that's when it was in its prime and really selling like a motherfucker, so it's weird that it wouldn't be on their website. But luckily you can find the Dick King Trivia Contest, which unfortunately I missed the deadline for. Would have really loved to have entered that one. But there is no mention of the Berenstein or Stein Bears until you get into around 2005 on the publisher's websites, where it is on the front fucking page, Berenstein Bears. It's incorrect there. That's unfortunate. But what really gives me the heebie-jeebies in a sense that there's definitely something amiss here is that you just can't find the Berenstein or Stein Bears on any old website where there's books. I've checked libraries too, old library catalogs, and there's no Berenstein or Stein Bears there either. So it's almost as if before the Berenstein Bears switch, whenever that happened, which was around 2005 apparently, they just didn't exist at all. It's just very strange. So I also did a little more research and found a website dedicated to proving that it's Berenstein and always has been in this reality, called BerensteinBears.weebly, and they have a lot of newspaper articles with the Berenstein spelling there, as well as TV program guides that have Berenstein there. And one that I find pretty interesting is this right here. This is a professional textbook, and it has Berenstein listed multiple times in the index. Now that could be attributed to a typo, as well many of these could, but for something like this I find it very unlikely that they'd make the same typo that many times, especially in a professional textbook. They'd really fact check that, as would a lot of these sources. And I decided to go to the Wayback Machine to see if these were photoshopped, and I corroborated the few that I looked at. I didn't want to go through all of them because that's just a fucking extremely tedious task. But I didn't think that was good enough because you can fake a lot of this shit, and especially the ones where you see the piles of books with Berenstein on them, that could easily be photoshopped. But one piece of evidence that I really find could be the deciding factor in this case is this right here. This clip, this little clipping, this excerpt, where it has Berenstein spelling as well as the book title there. But if you zoom in, you just can't make out if it says Stein or Steen. But if you could somehow get that enhanced enough where you could actually read it and you could see the spelling, that would once and for all settle the debate on Steen versus Stein. But for now, I'm going to keep knowing that it is Berenstein, and anything short of that I just will not accept. I would rather watch the world burn to ash than accept that it has always been Berenstein Bears. So I know I'm really chiming in on this subject way after people have already forgotten about it, but this has really altered my universe. It has crashed what I thought was my universe. In fact, I'm pretty sure the universe has stopped expanding now. So yeah, that's about it. See ya. You hear about the fires going on in Maui? Yeah. And I've seen a lot of the conspiracies. They're fucking incredible. There's not a small number of people that think that it's space lasers and that the fire isn't real because the trees aren't burned to the ground. It's incredible. It's so good. I think we are legitimately in the endgame of intelligence. I think give it 5 more years and we will actually be the dumbest we have ever been. Like as a whole, like as a unit. We've reached our great filter. Actually, though, like I know everyone says that as a meme, but all of those conspiracies about like it being a space laser starting the fires in Maui because it's part of the 15-minute city agenda, it's shocking how far intelligence has regressed. Well, it's not even intelligence. It's the inability to think for yourself, or to think in general, I guess. Oh, you guys don't know the 15-minute city agenda? That's a fun one. That's a fucking great one. This is like the new boogeyman. I don't even know where to start with bringing this one up. In a nutshell, though, the argument is they believe that the government is working to burn down our houses or basically demolish our living, take away our cars, and move us all into like a densely packed city, and that way they can control us better. Fundamentally. Depending on who you ask about the 15-minute city agenda. So what they're saying is the Maui fires were started so they could burn down the homes and take away their cars and rebuild in a densely packed city, part of the 15-minute city agenda. I saw two tweets that said this was caused by lasers that got 30K likes. I know. I know. It's nuts. It's actually incredible. Do they at least have video proof? Nope. What they have, you'll see in most of the posts, is a picture of a building on fire with like a geo fucking storm laser blasting at the top of it. That's their proof. There's Risa Banana and Eliza. At least that's the one I saw circulating last night. That shit was great. They'll believe what they want to be true no matter the lack of evidence. Well, that's what I've always said. It's just a matter of believing something because you want to, not because, like, it's compelling. Have you considered the possibility that it was the mole people from Tartaria? If you made a post and accused the mole people, like if you just photoshopped like mole people into the fires somewhere with like a can of gasoline, you would get 40K updates. And you'd have so many people saying, I knew it. People literally use random notepads as evidence. With the woman who had the airplane freak out, there was a post circulating with like 30K likes, where it was literally just written in WordPad, or not WordPad. What's the app on the phone? Notes? Notes. It was literally written in notes, like formatted like it was supposed to be a CIA doc, that just said, test successful. God, what the fuck was it? Place humanoid in public position, see if anyone notices, disguise protocol, that kind of shit. And people started circulating that as proof that it was actually a fake person on that aircraft, and she was right. As long as there was just a picture, even if it's the most outrageously bad Photoshop or just actually nothing, such as a notepad statement, people believe it. It's incredible. It's incredible. The concept of fake news has ruined society. Which is crazy to think because it's a legitimately good thing to be aware of, that you need to approach most things with skepticism because you can't just blindly trust everything. Like, it's a good lesson to teach people, but it gets taken to the extreme where they don't trust anything that doesn't conform to what they want to believe. So they'll go out of their way for confirmation bias to find the most outrageous shit with the weakest evidence ever to confirm their beliefs. So the distrust gets blown to the absolute extreme. Yeah, I've got Ultimate Top 8 on up here. I'm watching the buzz right now. What an incredible tournament he's having. Oh, I haven't watched the new CoffeeZilla on SBF yet. I will, though. I'm very interested to see what's happening with all that shit. I had the most insane debate with this guy saying that when men cheat, it's out of love, and he was acting like it was some scientific analysis. Ah. A debate, bro, eh? That's always a fun one. Everything's a debate as well. That's the current climate of society. Even something as indefensible as just cheating. They're like, well, actually, no, there's a good reason for this. There's actually nothing wrong with cheating, and here's why. You play basketball today? Nope, it's Thursdays. We're trying to start doing 2 days a week, though, so eventually we'll start doing 2 days a week. Wow, the buzz just did it. Nope, that didn't kill. I hope I didn't just curse him. Nope, now he did it. Wow, he popped off so hard he took down the stream for a second. Thanks, Resub Delicious. It's a TV show and it's very, very good. Oh, I'll check it out. No, I haven't heard of it. What's the poster covering your mini fridge? Plague Seeker. My comic book, one of them. We have that and Godslap. Have you seen Boogie pep talk his girlfriend for no reason? I don't know what you're referring to. I just don't understand why he's always posting pictures of his girlfriend and posting about his girlfriend and then making really weird posts in reference to his girlfriend. I don't get it. But it's not just Boogie. I don't understand why people do that in general. It's just very odd. Thanks to Prime Admiral. What's your favorite conspiracy theory? I already made a whole video about it. It's the Secret Space Force. Or Secret Space Program. It is a conglomeration of every possible unhinged belief rolled into one. Oki has an incredible video on it. The Secret Space Program is an absolute banger of a conspiracy. Thanks to Resub Obese. Is that the one? Is that the one with the trained Mars fighters? Yeah. Well, not just that. They also have vampires, werewolves, shapeshifters, and they're actually spun off from when World War II happened and the Nazis went to space and kidnapped them. Like, I wouldn't even know where to begin with the Secret Space Program. It's incredible. That conspiracy is unrivaled. Thanks to the resub nut and the prime links. It sounds like Red Orchestra. It's whatever you want it to be. That's the beauty of the Secret Space Program. It can actually be legitimately anything. So like when Oki went in, he went undercover and he had the community believing his story that he totally made up about being like an intergalactic samurai. It's just fanfic, but on a bigger scale. What's the one with the spoon bending and she used her hand? Oh, in the video? Yeah, that I don't think, no, that wasn't the Secret Space Program. That was a different thing that Oki went to. I don't believe she was a Secret Space Program telepathy user. Or telekinesis user. My favorite conspiracy is Escape Planet Earth. It's a group of people who believe that the Earth is trapped in a giant cage that surrounds the entire Earth. All they talk about is how they could possibly escape. I don't know that one, but it sounds kind of derivative of Flat Earth, where they believe that the Earth is surrounded by an ice wall that no one's been able to get past. And they really want to get past the ice wall. Flat Earth lore goes hard sometimes. God, it does, yeah. Flat Earth lore is so entertaining. Thanks, resub your boy. How do you think we escape the era of misinformation? You don't. It's just people, like, no matter how much real info you provide them with, they'll just not accept it. Brother, in the Flat Earth documentary, they ran the experiment themselves without any intervention from normal people. They ran an experiment to prove the Earth was flat, proved it was round, and then just disregarded it. No matter what you do, you can't stop it. It's just choosing to believe it no matter what. You'd have to literally control their brain, which is an entirely different can of worms that it seems like Elon and shit wants to do with like microchips at some point, but until then, there's not much you can do to combat that kind of shit. The only conspiracy theory that actually disgusts me is Hyperborea. What the fuck is Hyperborea? Never even heard of that one. I don't know anything about this one. It's like Borea, but faster. Ah, okay. Yeah, the only conspiracy I believe in is Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, but I feel like that's not a conspiracy. That's just, everyone knows that. That's just the truth. Believing that he killed himself is kind of the conspiracy, really. Other than that, I don't think there's any other conspiracies I believe in. I'd have to really think. I don't think there's any other ones. Oh no, he's definitely dead, nuts. Jeffrey Epstein is 100% dead. He was murdered. No, absolutely. That man had so much shit on so many people, there was no way they were going to let him live. And then his suicide just so happened to be the craziest set of circumstances, which I guess they never even bothered to investigate, like, with the most high-profile pedophile case of all time. Yeah. Not suspicious at all. I'll have to check that out. That sounds fucking wacky, Arrow. Thanks for resub Minecraft. Wasn't the conspiracy that the CIA killed JFK proven true? Partly. Like, partially. They declassified a lot of the documents, and while a lot of the information is still redacted, it seems like at the very least, they knew he would be assassinated and didn't do anything. More facts that point towards the CIA than anywhere else. Yeah, true. Thanks, Resub Chan and Gorilla. What's going on? Oh, we're just going over wacky conspiracies. I forgot how we got here. I forgot how we got on the conspiracy topic, but I just fucking love conspiracy theories, man. It's unhinged. Oh, that's right, the Maui space laser conspiracy that's brewing on Twitter. That's how we got here. No shot. In today's modern age, there's no chance Bigfoot's real because he would have been captured 50 times over on TikTok videos out the wazoo. Do you believe megalodons exist? No, I definitely think megalodons are extinct. But there's definitely going to be some wacky shit towards the bottom of the ocean. But I don't think it's going to be like megalodons or fucking kaiju or anything. Just wacky little deep-sea creatures that make no sense. They did at some point. Well, yeah, they did, but like I said, extinct now. Thanks, Resub Doge. You hear about the scientist that found coding in real life. You talking about life as a simulation theory? That's another wacky one. Thanks, the Resub Split. If it's a simulation, we would be the last in the chain of simulations, having not created our own yet. Interesting thought experiment, I guess. Hold on, quick text message. Sending a message to the architect, letting him know that you're getting too deep. Playing any games tonight? Yeah, man, we're gonna do some Dark and Darker in a bit. I'm just hanging out for now and watching the end of the Alt 8, or Alt Top 8. Right now it's Grand Finals. Aquila versus DeBuzz. I'm just shooting the shit and going over wacky things. Have you looked into the Project Bluebeam conspiracy? After the Pentagon, and now it's that mothership, the theorists have gone wild. Fuck. I have looked at it and I totally forgot. I've looked at so many conspiracies recently. Is Project Bluebeam the one that's back to mind control? Trying to pick up where MK Ultra left off. Is that Bluebeam? No, that one's not Bluebeam. Let me look it up. I definitely have looked it up before, but I can't remember exactly which one this is. Oh, it's to create the next Jesus, the artificial second coming. That's what it was. Yeah. So the idea behind Project Bluebeam was to somehow create like a revival of Christ type situation to spread a new religion across Earth. Thanks to give sub Bana and the resub whatever, Imperial and Ashley. Do you believe in any conspiracies? Only a couple. The most notable one is Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, but that's not even a conspiracy. That's just like legitimately the fucking truth. The other conspiracies are like really minor ones, like beef jerky being a scam and shit. How is beef jerky a scam? Every time I mention that, people always hit me with like question marks. I made a whole video breaking down the beef jerky conspiracy. Well, hey, now this is fucked up. I am not wrong about beef jerky. I made great points. In a nutshell, beef jerky is extremely expensive,
for actual 2 or 3 tiddlywinks worth of jerky. If you were to make the jerky yourself, you would get more and it would cost less. Buying prepackaged beef jerky from any of the major jerky players is an actual fucking scam. It is overpriced, you get nothing for it, it's a scam. You're being gouged. Thanks, Risa, Boston, Frosty, and the Prime Infi. They either need to increase the amount of jerky per package or decrease the price. Those are the only 2 options. That's all food and services? Not at all, actually. When it comes to, like, snack foods, I actually think you get so much bang for your buck. I have, like, a fucking 6-pound thing of Raisin Bran I got for, like, $2, if that. Meanwhile, jerky, for less than 3 ounces worth of jerky, it's $8. 8 fucking bucks. 8 smackaroos. Something's not adding up. Yeah, because no one eats Raisin Bran. It was just a quick example. Look at any cereal. You know, here. How much is the same poundage of Captain Crunch? If I wanted a full big whammy of Captain Crunch, it's $4.78. Or, in fact, if I want to go to Walmart instead of Target, it's $3.81. And that's got like 18,000 servings worth of Captain Crunch in there. And it is literally half, more than half, or yeah, less than half of beef jerky, ish. It doesn't make sense. Beef jerky is a scam, but it's not meat. That's fine. I actually did another comparison. If you were to buy, what's that sausage brand? The one that makes the little wieners? Not Oscar Mayer. It has, like, the farmer on the front, and he's, like, tipping his hat. Who the fuck is it? Is it Duke? I don't think it's Duke. Let me see. I can't remember. Then we'll just do a different one. Slim Jims. Slim Jims are meat as well. And a Slim Jim, a big Slim Jim, costs you... let's do Walmart price. Keep everything consistent. Big Slim Jim costs you $3. Or if you want like a 26-pack, it's $6. A 26-pack of Slim Jims, which is also meat, is $6, which is still cheaper than the 2 little fucking morsels of beef jerky you'd get in like a Jack Link's. Slim Jims are barely meat. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest Slim Jim guy, to be fair. But it was just a quick meat snack example. Point is, beef jerky as a meat snack is dreadfully overpriced for very, very, very little product. It's one of the few conspiracies I subscribe to. Wholeheartedly. There's an actual beef jerky outlet by me, and their bags are going for 25 to 45 bucks. Oh, if you're talking about artisanal jerky, that's a whole new can of worms. There was a jerky spot, I can't remember the name of it, that I used to go to from time to time a while back, and it was pretty good. And the price, like, actually reflected the amount of jerky you'd get. You get, like, an entire fucking slab for, I don't know, a little bit more than Jack Link's pitiful little containers. It's really just the big boys that fuck you. Do you think the government controls the weather? Nah, I don't think we're at Geostorm levels yet. We don't have Buc-ee's here, so I don't know that jerky. I don't know what they're selling out there at Buc-ee's. People have been able to manipulate the weather for hundreds of years at least. Brother, doing a rain dance isn't scientifically efficient for summoning rain. Now, if you want to talk about something about how they can kind of, like, influence clouds, like that, I know, I don't remember what it's called, but they do some shit like that. But it's still not fully controlling the weather. Thanks to the resub Pluto. Cloud seeding? Is that what it's called? Is it called cloud seeding? Let me see. That's probably what I'm thinking of. Cloud seeding is a type of weather modification to change the amount or type of precipitation. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Charlie, do your research. On rain dances, brother, I'm telling you right now, I promise, no amount of research outside of like your unhinged Facebook groups is going to confirm a rain dance has ever actually summoned rain. Now, if we're talking about like real shit, like cloud seeding, yeah. Then, yeah, for sure. But that's still not fully controlling the weather. How do you feel about AI technology? Oh man, I've spent many a stream going over AI tech. I'm sure stream's tired of hearing me talk about AI. I follow everything AI related when it comes to like that technology advancing. That shit's crazy. Thick for sure, Tori. Though I don't consume jerky at all anymore. Because it's a scam. You want to see the most convincing alien abduction story? Look up Travis Walton. Let me make sure this isn't just some kind of troll and this Travis Walton guy's not doing some shady shit. The Travis Walton UFO incident. Okay, let's take a peek. Crazy how we went from jerky to alien abductions so quick. So here he is on Joe Rogan. Where's like a breakdown of his claims? Decoding the Unknown made a whole video on it. Where's the cliff notes?
Universe, the phenomenon is real.
So they came here and took Travis in particular? Why him? What did he have that the rest of us don't? So what makes it so credible? It said it's one of the most heavily documented alien abductions. Is it because he had 6 of his crew members around and they couldn't find him? And they all claimed a giant blue light? 100% a bad drug trip? Well, I haven't heard the whole story yet, but I suppose that could be an option. Watch the Rogan interview. Well, I guess I imagine the Rogan interview is going to be a lot like his other interviews, just kind of prodding at like the current and touching on the past. I was just kind of hoping like for a full breakdown with the so-called heavily documented experience. So I would have liked to hear from like the witnesses and all that, but I don't feel like watching the entire fucking Discovery Plus thing on it, at least not tonight. He's Risa Lactose. You could just read the wiki. Oh, true, I guess. Let me see. He has his own wiki. The Travis Walton UFO incident. In 1964, during a hypnosis session, Barney Hill told his psychiatrist a story about having been abducted by aliens. Modern psychiatric consensus is that Hill experienced false memory syndrome, in which therapy methods such as hypnosis lead to confabulations. I haven't heard that word in years. Confabulations. That's such a fucking good word. Thanks to the resub Jonald and Uwe Bowl. On October 20th, 1975, NBC Network aired the UFO incident, a made-for-TV movie inspired by the Hills, starring James Earl Jones. The film aired 2 weeks before the Travis Walton UFO incident, which led cognitive psychologist Susan Clancy to argue that this film influenced Travis Walton to present his own alleged abduction story. Walton's account shares commonality with other alien abduction claims that are made after such stories appear in films and on TV. Clancy noted the general rise in alien abduction claims following the showing of the UFO incident and cites Class's conclusions that after viewing this movie, any person with a little imagination could now become an instant celebrity, concluding that one of those instant celebrities was Travis Walton, which is something we've seen time and time again. So it's certainly plausible. According to Walton and a number of other members from the logging crew. On November 5th, 1975, he was working with a timber stand improvement crew in the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest near Snowflake, Arizona. Snowflake, Arizona, huh? While riding in a truck with 6 of his coworkers, they allegedly encountered a saucer-shaped object hovering over the ground approximately 110 feet away, making a high-pitched buzz. Walton says that after he left the truck and approached the object, a beam of light suddenly appeared from the craft and knocked him unconscious. The other 6 men were frightened and supposedly drove away. Walton says he awoke in a hospital-like room being observed by 3 short, bald creatures. He says that he fought with them until a human wearing a helmet led Walton to another room, where he blacked out as 3 other humans put a clear plastic mask over his face. Walton has said that he remembers nothing else until he found himself walking along a highway 5 days later with the flying saucer departing above him. Thanks to the resub, Drain Me and Bree. Just getting the cliff notes here, I gotta tell you, calling this the most compelling evidence of a real UFO abduction is quite a leap. In the days following Walton's UFO claims, National Enquirer awarded Walton and his coworkers $5,000 prize for Best UFO Case of the Year, after they were said to have passed polygraph tests administered by the Enquirer and the Aerial Phenomena Research Organization. Walton, his older brother, and his mother were described by the Navajo County, Arizona Sheriff as longtime students of UFOs. UFOologist Jim Ledwith said, "For 5 days the authorities thought he'd been murdered by his coworkers and then he returned. All of the coworkers who were there, who saw the spacecraft, they took polygraph tests and they all passed except for one, and that one was inconclusive." Speaking of inconclusive, there's a reason why polygraph tests aren't exactly the gold standard. But at least I got $5,000. That's something. These are some Simplici and the Prime Goblin and Domino. These wild Travis abductors copied the movie Aliens. Well, maybe the movie just got it right. Oh man, he's even getting blasted by UFO researchers. UFO researcher Philip J. Klass agreed Walton's story was a hoax perpetrated for financial gain, identified many discrepancies in the accounts of Walton and his co-workers. After investigating the case, Klass reported that polygraph tests were poorly administered and that Walton had used polygraph countermeasures such as holding his breath, and that Klass uncovered an earlier failed test administered by an examiner who concluded the case involved gross deception. Oof. Eek. So that's how you pass polygraph test, noted. Well, I mean, there's a couple different ways. I guess holding your breath's one of them. Travis Walton is actually an actor. I couldn't tell you. Maybe he is. No idea.
You all know how much I love conspiracies, reptilians, flat earth, the revival of JFK Jr. and his upcoming presidency announcement, 5G, Wi-Fi, reprogramming gamer DNA, fucking microchips hidden in our spaghetti. I love all of it. But what if I told you there's a new and growing conspiracy that makes all of these look rational? I'm talking about the secret space program. The secret space program, to break it down, is basically a group of people who believe that they were at one point selected by space Nazis to fight intergalactic threats, and they're augmented super soldiers that have lived on Mars for 300, 400 years in some cases. They command high-tech mechs like Gurren Lagann shit straight out of an anime. And it's people who genuinely believe this. They have their own seminars, the meet and greets, they have their own community. I was recently made aware of this thanks to a YouTuber named Oki's Weird Stories, a fantastic channel, and a lot of work went into a video he produced where he talked about and infiltrated this conspiracy group. It's truly amazing. We watched it on stream, and I'll play clips of that now. but I'd encourage you to watch the full video to get like the absolute all-encompassing experience, because I can't do it justice. There is so many layers to this onion, not even Shrek could get to the bottom. It's fucking amazing. But my god, I was blown away by what I was seeing and learning. So I've of course done my own research on it now, and it is even better than I could have possibly imagined. The secret space program is where LARPing, fanfic, and main character syndrome all collide into this singularity, this fucking supernova of entertainment. It is amazing, and it wouldn't be nearly as enjoyable if people didn't actually believe it. From everything I can see, this isn't some kind of joke movement or anything. Like, of course you have the fun ones like birds aren't real, but you all know, and not to spoil the surprise or ruin Christmas, tell you Santa's not real, the birds not real movement is made as a joke. And I know that's kind of blasphemous to say, but in comparison to the secret space program, which is taken very seriously.
Person for the White Dragon Society. With me here is Chodoin Daikaku. He's the head of the world's martial arts societies, and if necessary, and in an emergency, he can summon up an army of 200 million people worldwide.
This guy? This guy looks like a sex doll. Is there a human being here? Or, like, the quality's so bad I can't even tell. Is this flesh? He can summon up an army of 200 million people, and he's the head of the world's martial arts committee?
Here on my right is Alexander Romanov, who is a grandmaster of an Illuminati group that claims to have started the French, Russian, and American revolutions.
Wow!
Imagine if someone told you they lived out the plot of the movie Total Recall. That they thought they were living a regular life until one day they recovered memories of being a secret agent fighting an evil organization on Mars.
I'd say that's a fucking good man.
Who is an Akashic reader, healer, and telepath. And he also remembers being in a facility that trained his shapeshifting abilities, in which I was also a participant of. He recalls experiences
Can you still
as a
shapeshift?
super soldier in Kruger, and has done training missions with zombies and vampires.
Well, there was one kid.
There were zombies and vampires on Mars?
There was another a female that
surely we could
turned
cure
into an eagle,
zombieism,
and that was used for surveillance. I myself was a blue wolf.
Upon realizing this, I started to formulate a plan. What if I made up a story about being in the secret space program?
Well, that's all they
do.
Yeah.
And share it
See,
with his community.
That's easy.
And that's how I finally found an angle that compelled me enough to make a video about this topic.
You don't join the SSP, swine.
So if my goal still sounds too vague to you, I set up a criteria for 2. Get onto a major platform.
We'll just say you're part of the Blue Wolf
and share my experience.
Crew.
I developed this criteria after thinking what's required to become an SSP whistleblower. Before World War II, the Nazis, who were interested in mysticism and alternative views, searched the planet for fantastical powers. They found Maria Orsak, a medium and leader of the Vril Society, who channeled Nordic and Draco reptilians who offered the Nazis the schematics behind anti-gravity technology and UFOs. The Draco reptilians told the Nazis about ancient alien technology hidden in Antarctica, and in 1938, the Nazis traveled there. And by 1950, the Nazis were on Mars.
The new Schwabenlanders didn't want to support Hitler at the end of the war because they considered him.
Let me catch up on the lore myself here at base 211. The new Schwabenlanders. Was that like a real division in the Nazi Germany, or is that just what the secret space program made up? The new Schwabenlanders. No evidence. Bro, we don't use the E word when we're talking about the secret space program. We just feel it. They have unlocked memories, dumbass. Evidence. Fuck. What are you? Huh? Some kind of science believer? Idiot.
Insane.
This guy has lived for 330 years on Mars. Okay, you don't understand.
The Nazis capable of space and time travel became the Fourth Reich.
You don't have the lived experience.
Antarctica in space while refusing to proceed, and began an aggressive expansion out into the solar system, setting up.
So is the entire secret space program Nazis?
The Kuiper belts and etc. Capable of time travel, the space Germans also traveled back in time to settle on planets around the galaxy.
In their own lore, they made themselves Nazis? Why? So they're part of the new Schwabenlanders? Alright, give me 1 second. I'm gonna go say goodnight to Tiana. And then maybe interrogate her to see if she's part of the secret space program and she's lying to me.
Offering services to help recover secret space program related memories. At the top of the list was James. And for $200 USD, I could book a guided meditation regression session with him.
Draco reptilian humanoid hybrid. And then I think I also got like Anunnaki.
Do you know who you might have been in a past life?
Have you heard like the Black Samurai Yasuke?
You were a samurai?
Yeah. Dude, hold on. I'll show you something. Check this out.
That's pretty dope. And I was a gladiator.
Oh no, that's awesome.
Oh wow.
The goal here, I want us
You
to
could learn a lot from James.
Let's put a gold sheet thought into it. Just imagine what do you think?
Imagine Oki just becomes a real believer.
So let's start with that and tell me what you see.
I see Kevin Spacey, or his clone.
Paul Serene, he was on the governing council of the ICC. So his clone is Kevin Spacey.
We're in a gymnasium.
Wait, what? So wait, is that part of SSP lore? Kevin Spacey is like a figurehead in the secret space program? Oh, okay, so Monarch is responsible for human trafficking, sex, mind control, experiments, and chemtrailing. I knew it. Fucking Kevin Spacey was behind it all, that son of a bitch. Evil bastard thought he got away with it. Didn't expect us to be hot on his trail. Luckily we broke away from Atlantis though, so we cut the connection. But Kevin Spacey himself is a clone of Paul.
We're in I think I see...
Oh nice, thanks for rubber feed.
Mr. Beast.
Today we will be planting 20 million trees.
Okay, so they're probably programming him. But he's the guy that was near to give away a bunch of free stuff on the videos.
Yeah.
They must have looked into his future and... Okay.
So a few days later, I traveled to Las Vegas and landed at around 12 p.m. after a 4-hour plane ride.
Man, he went all in for this video.
I'm here.
Traveled fucking 5,000 miles for a 45-minute interview.
Disclosure, 5D events.
This is going to be an exercise in patience for me.
No, this is going to be an eye-opening experience for everyone. We're all going to leave here thinking we're super soldiers from space.
The golden nugget.
And experience this up on the starship.
Is he the only one here?
I spoke with the commander, the Arcturian commander, who I am connected to.
That's how we connect?
This concert, this Travis Scott concert, where 800 people were injected with these drone mosquitoes. You know, you see, that, wow, they can go around.
So that's what happened.
People.
Jesus Christ. It is so hard to believe that people like that exist, man. Not only exist, but have other people that believe them. Like, they have influence over other people. That's fucking wild. Think about that for a second. I've said this a million times. No matter how stupid you are or how outrageous your beliefs, you will always have an audience thanks to the internet. You will always find people that agree with you, support you, worship you, or just at the very least provide camaraderie in a positive echo chamber because you are connected to everyone at all times through Twitter and Facebook. So that guy who thinks at the Travis Scott concert 800 people were injected with, what was it, some super space mosquitoes or whatever, he's got 100 other people in his Facebook group that all think the same thing. Wild.
We get to go to How to Become a Jedi Warrior.
I'm excited about that one.
That should be, yeah, that should be productive.
Unfortunately, when we showed up to the How to Become a Jedi Warrior workshop, no one was there, not even the speaker, so it was canceled.
We just got in here, we have no idea.
Oh man, what the fuck? Well, they're too busy having sex, I bet.
Just gave up.
On Mars.
Quantum spoon bending, parentheses, bring your own spoons, close parentheses.
And the quantum spoon bending lesson was underwhelming since, instead of learning how to bend a spoon with our minds, we were instructed to physically do it with both hands.
What the fuck? It's real! Oh my god.
While walking around the venue, I noticed that James had sent me a text inviting me to his hotel room for an interview. Suddenly, a wave of anticipation and euphoria washed over me. This was it. Finally, after several months,
he ends up getting like Harvey Weinsteined by James.
I ran back to the workshop room, found Night Docs, filmed the interview, and to get to Jay's hotel room as soon as possible.
Night Docs, go with him. Keep him safe.
Therefore, being late
oh
was
my
not
god.
enough. Night Docs, who was behind me, was still trying to
The
attach
super
his
soldier's
camera to the
unpredictable.
gimbal, which would not fit. By then, any nervous anticipation I felt leading up to this face-to-face sit-down had completely dissipated.
Yeah, you just get to come in here
knowing
and
that I was more than
make some
to
shit
speak
up.
About my time in the secret
Have
space
some fun.
program in a convincing manner. The interview lasted 1 hour, and here's what happened.
Okay, so my name is Oki. So it started from before I was even born, where they genetically enhanced my DNA. And by the time I was 6, I was put into a special program run by Monarch. I was under direct tutelage of Paul Serene, Kevin Spacey's clone. There was 12 children.
Oh my god. Luckily, James didn't pick up on that. He just got the lore wrong. Paul Serene is not the clone of Kevin Spacey, Oki. Kevin Spacey is the clone of Paul Serene. Oh my god, the whole operation just went tits up. There's no way James didn't just... Oh my god, there's no way James didn't pick up on that. Oh my god. He blew it. He fucking blew it. SSP's on his tail now.
Who were trained
He's hunted.
directly
He's a
under
hunted
him,
man.
including myself and the YouTuber Mr. Beast.
So
every method they could to use MK Ultra programming and to create killing machines. And I was able to just look at a photo of a target and make their head explode. Because I mean, there was billions of dollars spent on each and every single one of us. I particularly liked
that sounds like Kevin Spacey's research.
I liked my my 2 daggers. I had a form of EMP that I could take out there.
He's a Reddit assassin.
In my past life, I was
on Mars.
Yasuke, the Black Samurai.
Did any of your clones ever get changed into a zombie?
I had a clone.
I like how that's one of James' core questions. Have any of your clones been changed into a zombie? James makes it sound like he doesn't even know what the fuck a zombie is. He makes it sound like it's a state of mind. The clones would have to die first, James, and then Kevin Spacey and Paul Serene would have to do a fusion dance in order to bring out the proper necromancy on Mars at the Knockwaffen to revive them, for them to be zombies, James. Jesus Christ. He's getting lost in his own sauce. He's not even following his own rules in the secret space program.
That clone actually was fighting zombies and vampires. And there was also Yetis that they were fighting.
What about vampires? Do you recall any scenarios fighting vampires?
He just said that, James.
This particular thing.
He's killed 1,000 of them with his bare hands.
Is that they can't help but count. From what I remember, most clearly is
he
that
wanted
I
that
do
so
have
bad.
many different clones of myself with used pretty much as like kamikaze pilots.
Typically, at least what I heard, black people require a different protocol of brainwashing.
Time flew by, and I was struck by the effortlessness
the super soldier is many things, but a coward he is not. He will ask the hard-hitting questions. He will go where no other space program super soldiers will.
Story which I crafted. I spoke for 1 hour.
He actually
with ease
fucking
and told
said
my
that.
story so coherently. I was playing a role, and even though I created the role, while I was performing it, it was like a switch in my brain went off, and everything I said felt real.
That's
At that moment, I
100%
managed to
true.
delude
That's how it
myself
works.
and speak matter-of-factly about
That's
being
why these
trained
communities
by Kevin
exist.
Spacey's clone, along with Mr. Beast. Whistleblower testimony that they've heard on James's channel so far, and one person even said that they cried the whole way through the video. So that's that.
Oh my god. Hold on, I want to read that. I'm so sorry you had to do that. Thank you for your bravery. Oh man. God, like, to a certain extent, I feel bad for them.
not in particular the secret space program, like them too, but in general, people that truly believe these things, like wholeheartedly separate themselves from reality to exist in this new made-up world. It is sad to a certain level. God, that was amazing. This is criminally underrated for the work that went into this. Dude flew out from Canada to Las Vegas to a secret space program meeting in order to have an interview with the #1 figure in secret space program super soldier lore. The 330-year-old ass-beating, ass-eating super Goliath James. I used to make fun of flat earthers. I thought it was all just a bunch of bullshit until today. Today I found 2 very convincing videos that grabbed me by the dick and led me towards the light. Evidence so compelling it's opened my third eye. I'm going to share the videos with you, and I trust that you will also now become part of the flat earth cult as a result of watching these videos. This shit's powerful.
Hi, flat earthers. Y'all know me, right? I am here just to tell you something. I want you to stay flat. Because if you don't, then the next generation is gonna suffer. Eh? Remember, flat.
When I saw jolly old Saint Nick preaching the good word of flat earth theory, I knew maybe this wasn't bullshit. Maybe there was something more to this. There's only 2 people I trust, and it's Santa Claus and Logan Paul. Both of them believe in flat earth. Maybe there's something to this. It's like the old Christmas jingle goes. Santa Claus, he'll fuck your bitch. Miss Saint Nick can suck a dick. Milk and cookies, fuck that shit. Leave him flat earth and a bottle of piss. Not a bad freestyle. What I'm saying is, fucking Santa Claus knows what's up. And if Santa Claus believes in flat earth, maybe I should too. So I started watching videos from the experts in the community, and then I finally found one that puts NASA to shame. Evidence that's indisputable, extremely compelling evidence, and I'm going to share it with you now.
Don't worry though, there is a way to scientifically prove that the Earth is flat, and it's a pretty simple experiment. I'll explain with the Lego Earth. Here we have a small, flat Earth.
I think that's about all we need to see here. Checkmate, round earth sheep. Was that a little too much for your little reptile brains to comprehend? When the Lego set comes out, that's when you know shit's getting serious and scientific. I remember when Isaac Newton first proved gravity's existence using his Lego set and the world was blown away. And now this pioneer is doing the same, proving flat earth is true.
RenderForest.com.
It was actually this video right here that convinced me without a shadow of a doubt that the earth is flat. Now, the symbolism here and the little nuance of the video game he's created might go over your head if you're some primitive round earther, but if you've opened your eyes, if you're a euphoric being like myself, who can see that the world is obviously flat, you would understand what the creator is trying to say here. He's like a fucking Mozart here, playing this beautiful symphony of truth with flat earth. You have to be injecting heroin to think the world is round and is spherical. It's the stupidest thing in the world. You have to be out of your mind, literally, to think that the world is round. Now, if you go into the comments section, some blasphemer was saying that the world is absolutely round, but luckily, this brave hero was able to disprove him with some just downright straight fucking facts. Just laying down a butt-fucking of facts into this man's butt-fuck hole. And with a name like Unbelievable Productions, you knew you didn't stand a chance in a debate against him. He will unbelievably butt-fuck you, especially with his production value like this. Now, let's get serious for a moment. Yeah, Flat Earth is a big fucking joke. The content they produce on YouTube is some of my favorite because there's shit like this and it's always super enjoyable to laugh at. But I do think the movement as a whole, which is somehow gaining steam, is super dangerous. Thinking the Earth is flat, that's fine if you want to be some type of fucking troglodyte. I don't care if you believe that. But it's the idea that science is wrong and denying science where I get upset, and that's what's genuinely detrimental to society. Anti-vax and flat earth, they're basically the same thing, but for some reason they hate each other and think the other one is fucking dumb. But they're the same. They're born from the same idea that science is wrong and hurting us. And that's dangerous because these fucking idiots can't recognize that science is the only reason they're even alive today. Because half of these goddamn idiots would have already died fucking choking on a rock they ate because they thought it looked appetizing, or bathing in sewage and getting an infection, perhaps eating a block of plutonium because it smelt nice. These people would be dead without science, and yet for some reason they're the first to turn around and bash it and say it's wrong and a lie. Logan Paul, I don't think believes flat earth. I'm 100% certain he's just there to capitalize on the money there, sell some maverick flat earth merch to them, because these fucking idiots have so much disposable income that they seem to just want to get rid of all of their money, tossing it at lunatics building rockets in their backyard. So Logan Paul's smart to get into that market, and I don't think many of the people in the Flat Earth Society actually believe it. Like I said, I think they're just there to capitalize on all the disposable income they all seem to have. And you know what, that's completely fine by me. If you want to take money from these Tide Pod eating douchebags that are just too fucking dumb, I don't really mind, because they genuinely are promoting a dangerous idea to the impressionable children that science is evil and always lying to you. Don't believe science, just believe us. It's this weird indoctrination shit, a very strange cult. But yeah, anyway, what I wanted to really talk about today was the beautiful content they produce, and I really hope they do keep making these, because I watch them pretty often. And I wanted to make this today because the big news about Logan Paul being a flat earther and the flat earth movement is really growing again. I'm seeing a lot of posts on Facebook from dumb friends of mine in the past like, here's the truth, removing anyone that doesn't believe, bless up, 100 emoji, just shit like that. But keep up the great content, flat earthers. It's always nice to laugh at, and good shit. See ya. Yeah, I love conspiracy theories, but this shit is getting out of hand. There's a new, insane conspiracy every single day. Just some wacky, goofy shit. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a fucking group on Twitter that thinks Reptar cereal is the instrument of Hillary Clinton to brainwash children into worshiping the devil or some garbage. You see it all over the internet every single day with these people that like to think that they're so special and intellectually enlightened that they have opened their third, fourth, and fifth eye, they've awakened their Sharingan, and now they're seeing the truth behind everything. There's nothing wrong with questioning things, it's extremely healthy and extremely important to do, but when you question every single thing ever and discredit science and come up with some actual diarrhea dog shit, maybe you're the crazy person. Like, you have people saying, water's evil. In fact, we've been lied to all our lives. The human body doesn't require water. In fact, water was cursed by Bill Gates over 3 millennia ago, and we're not even drinking water. We're drinking a mind control potion that Bill Gates has got to us. In fact, the only fluid we should be consuming is a Diet Coke via enema. Please, join me, enlightened brothers, and you'll have like 50,000 people on that Facebook page that all agree with that. It's just crazy shit. Like the Wayfair conspiracy is another big one where everyone said they were human trafficking people in fucking wardrobes and shit, and pillows. It's actual nonsense, but everyone likes to think that they're seeing the truth, which is what makes conspiracies so appealing. And once you get ingrained in a conspiracy, once you start believing in it, you're never going to change that belief, or at least the majority of people don't. Like flat earthers, for example. Flat earthers are like Looney Tunes villains that can't do anything fucking right to support their point. Flat earthers in their own documentaries have proven themselves wrong multiple times, and then just throw that away. Like in the end of the most recent documentary I can think of on flat earthers, they proved the earth is round with their own experiment, and they said, huh, that's interesting. Must have done something wrong. Even doing their own experiment perfectly correct and proving the earth was round, they just said, no, it's still flat, even though this proved it was round with our own science. You can't convince people of these things because they just don't want to believe it. They'd rather stay believing in some garbage to make themselves still feel like they're special. Like people that think the moon is fake, you could literally fly them to the moon and they would say it doesn't exist. They'd say you drug them and just put them in Nevada on a CGI set or something. No matter how many times and how thoroughly these awful conspiracies get debunked, people are always going to believe them. It is what it is, so now I just kind of enjoy the chaos of it all, and there's been some absolute bangers when it comes to bullshit conspiracies recently, like spirit cooking is a really good one. There's also a wild one about the tablets of Thoth being used to resurrect an ancient deity from the underworld who's going to rise and exterminate Earth for its sin. Another really cool one I've been into is that Atlantis is real, and the previous god of Atlantis is very upset with the state of the world, so to get back at us, he started cloning celebrities.
I don't know how exactly that, punishes us to just clone celebrities, but apparently that's what the god of Atlantis is doing, according to a bunch of people. It's just some really fucking incredible stuff. Like, these conspiracies make Sonic the Hedgehog fan fiction sound sane. And when I mention conspiracies like this, it's not like one person who's having some kind of bad acid trip and writing this shit down in some kind of journal. It's communities of people that believe this. I'm deep into conspiracy Facebook groups and stuff, just kind of reading about all of it and getting a little bit of a giggle out of it. But admittedly, it is sad to see people genuinely believe some of these things and be fearful of this boogeyman who's coming from like the 12th dimension as a time-traveling pedophile to steal away people's families or something. It is sad to see people kind of believe these things and act so out of fear online about shit that absolutely isn't true at all. But that being said, I thought it'd be fun to add some fuel to this fire here, and I'll bring up a conspiracy that I believe in. I'm sure some of you might remember this. Berenstein versus Berenstein Bears. I made a video on this a few years back, kind of blowing this shit wide open and spreading the cheeks of this conspiracy to get into the meat of it. And I think it's time, in the current climate of things, we reopen this one. We gotta open this wound up again and pour some salt on it and figure out what the fuck is going on. So, to break down the Berenstein versus Berenstein Bears conspiracy, growing up, there was a very popular book series called the Berenstein Bears. Or at least that's what the government and the reality puppeteers would have you believe. What I remember growing up, having written reports on this book series, was it was always called the Berenstein Bears. And the majority of people in my age range, 25 years old, also remember it as Berenstein Bears. However, if you check the so-called official records and the history of this planet, you'll realize that it's never been called the Berenstein Bears. It's always been Berenstain. There wasn't some kind of rebranding from Steen to Stain. It has always existed as the Berenstein Bears. When I learned about this, I went back through all of my Berenstein Bears books to see, for proof, look, it was called Berenstein, only to realize in shock and horror that my once authentic Berenstein Bears books had been subtly changed to Berenstain. As if some kind of adjustment bureau, some kind of, legion of tooth fairies or something came in when I wasn't looking and they very subtly changed the name to Stain over Steen. Semi-chubbed and in a panic, I began searching throughout the entire internet for proof that it was once Berenstein Bears in this corporeal dimension we inhabit. However, everything points to the fact that it was always Berenstain Bears. So then what's the explanation? Well, most people chalk this up to the Mandela effect. For those that don't know, the Mandela effect is when a large group of people remember events differently than they actually occurred. Basically, it's just a large group of people that misremember something, and oftentimes when faced with the truth, people say the truth is wrong because they have these vivid memories that don't match up with it. And yes, memories aren't the most reliable source when it comes to figuring out what's real and what actually happened. However, in this case, fuck you. I am not wrong. You can hold my nutsack in your goddamn mouth. It was definitely Berenstein Bears at some point over the last 25 years. Like I said, I used to write reports on these goddamn things, and I used to write it as Berenstein Bears, because I didn't know what the fuck steen was, but I knew what a stain was, obviously, because I was fucking staining my diapers with fucking shit constantly, so I knew what a stain was. So I'd write Berenstain, only to lose points on my reports, teachers just fucking scratching it out. Charlie, you're never gonna make it in college with this kind of garbage. Because they said it's not Stain, it's Steen, so I'd lose points, and then I got it really fucking ingrained in me that it's Berenstein instead of Stain. So this has like a personal connection with me. I fucking know it. I still believe it. And so, what is the other explanation? Well, a lot of highly intellectual truth seekers believe that at some point in the last 25 years, the multiverse has collapsed in on itself. So the multiverse theory suggests there's infinite number of universes, and at some point in the last 25 years, our Berenstein timeline collapsed on top of the Berenstain timeline, causing subtle changes in the two as we transformed into this Autobot of disappointment. And that's why we're left with Berenstain instead of Steen, and only some of us remember it as Steen instead of Stain. The chosen few, the cream of the crop that remember it as Berenstein. So there's a fun little conspiracy to play around with, I think. Hey, that one's got some meat to it, I will say. The Berenstein versus Berenstain one that one's near and dear to my boners. Like, that shit, I think, is really weird. Because, like I said, I really do remember getting points off for writing Stain, because I thought it was Berenstain as a kid, but I was told it was Berenstein. And I wish I could find those reports, but obviously I don't have homework from 20 years ago. But anyway, yeah, that's about it. See ya. There's a fascinating controversy brewing right now around whether or not a sun bear in a zoo in China is actually a real creature or a man in a bear costume. I'll go ahead and let you form your own opinion here, because that's the beauty of being an individual with your own thoughts. Let your eyes tell you the story, before I give you the real story and hit you with the cold water of the truth. So, you can see that the creature is a bit odd. It looks like something out of Spore. By far the weirdest part about it is the bear's ass. It looks like a Krabby Patty. It actually looks like Homer Simpson's lips. So this is the video that popped off. You can see him standing up, kind of sizing up the crowd, looking at everybody like he's about to go shake them down for their lunch money here. He's looking kind of menacing. He's got his mouth open, but he also just looks super sweet, even gives like a little wave with its flippers, because it doesn't even really look like it has paws. It has like these tiny little fucking flipper things. It's adorable. Like, seeing the video, I think, makes it a little more clear that it's probably not a man in a bear costume. It's just a really weird bear. So when I first saw this story, I actually thought this was an older case, because I do remember something like this happening about a year ago, but it turns out that was just for a comedy sketch. That wasn't a real thing. This is pretty new from what I can tell, where people really thought that it was a man in a bear costume, myself included. Those pictures really do look like something that you'd find at like a furry convention, like some kind of costume somebody made. It doesn't look like a real animal. It's got more loose skin than like my elbow. Like it is a wild creature. Apparently sun bears are just the smallest bear species, so when it's standing up, it looks like just like a person. It's not, you know, some kind of hulking bear that you're used to seeing. Like, this looks like some shit out of the Berenstein Bears, right? Like, it doesn't seem like a real bear. So when I saw this, I was like, it's a cut and dry case of a man in a bear costume. This must have been a joke. But it turns out, no, this is like actually what sun bears look like and how they act. So I'm going to go ahead and play you the stream clips where I tackled this case head on, and I learned a lot about sun bears. You hear about the Chinese zoo denying the claim that one of their bears is a man in a bear costume? That's not a new story. I remember that from like a year ago. Because I've definitely seen this before. And I think it's pretty obvious that this is a man in a bear costume. Like, this is like Hank Hill level ass. Shit looks like a pack of hot dogs. No bear has a tuchus like this. That's definitely a man in a bear costume. Apparently sun bears look like that. What the fuck is a sun bear? Sounds like some kind of mythical creature out of Dark Souls. Maybe a sun bear costume. Well, okay. Because it looks like they do pack the same ass. Shit's out here looking like grill marks. It's just the same guy. There's no such thing as a sun bear. It's just a couple of guys that have a costume, and it fooled the zoologists into thinking it was a real animal. They got weird tongues. Weird, well, really weird everything. But I don't know, even still, this face doesn't look natural. I mean, we just looked at its tongue, and the tongue, like, was, like, hanging way out to here, basically. I don't know. I'm not convinced. This is convincing. This angle. Why would they lie? I don't know. Just to see if they could... Just see if they could, I guess. Sun bears, the smallest bear species in the world, are generally the size of a large dog. Oh, wow. The folds help protect the bears from predators as the looseness allows the bear to turn around in their skin and fight back if a large animal like a tiger were to get a hold of them. You're telling me there's an evolutionary purpose to all these fucking ass folds? That's wild. And it's got like sea lion flippers. Like it's like the most incomprehensibly smart thing ever, but at the same time super fucking stupid with the solutions that it finds. How are we gonna protect us
Just give it a lot of ass skins. That way if something bites our ass, we can move around a little bit. What about horseshoe crabs? There's so many fucking creatures out there that have just been condemned, forsaken by evolution. Like the, what's the actual name of the blobfish? It's a really embarrassing species. But the reason it looks so gross and looks like a goofy face when you bring it up to the surface is because it literally implodes. So, like, as you take it out from its, like, high-pressure environment, it just implodes. But that one's pretty embarrassing. Evolution did it dirty. A lot of sea creatures are like that. There's one that's called the pinnacle of evolution, the perfect species, because it hasn't evolved for, like, actually 20 million years or something crazy. It's the, what is it? The something worm? Hagfish, not a worm. Hagfish, yeah. This thing. And not because it's, like, perfect, like, you're not about to see handsome Squidward or anything. The reason it hasn't evolved is because it just literally doesn't need to. It found the perfect solution for its environment. So this is the hagfish. And what it does is it's just this gross-looking little worm thing that when it's either threatened or anything like that, it just excretes really, really thick slime. Super slimes. It just Nickelodeon slime times whatever's after it, and it clogs up its mouth and it kills whatever attacked it. The slime gets clogged up like in their gills and everything, and they die. It's not worth killing, and it's such a fucking hassle, and it's actually really adept at surviving, all because it can super slime. Got a little sidetracked with hagfish once again, as is known to happen. Hagfish are a remarkable species of bewilderment. But back on the topic of sun bears. So, it is a real sun bear from everything I can tell. You know, of course, you know, I'm not a fucking zoologist here. I can't say beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's a sun bear for sure and not a man in a bear costume. But based on everything that I read and everything I researched, it's most likely a real sun bear. But I really love to suspend disbelief for a moment here and play with the idea that it's actually a man in a bear costume. What would be the goal? Let's start looking at this in a philosophical way and start speculating. If it is a man in a bear costume, or if it was a man in a bear costume, what could they possibly gain from that? Well, I've been racking my brain on it. So let's picture a dystopia where most animals are extinct, right? We're losing tons of animals all the time. There's a lot of species that are on the brink of the extinction. So let's just toy with the idea that all of them go extinct. Like that famous streamer clip, you know? The government's lying to us, the aliens aren't talking to us, the animals are leaving, all the animals leave, right? So now we've got nothing left. That's very bad for business at zoos. So, what if they spent a lot of resources and a lot of time developing very convincing costumes that look realistic enough to fool us into thinking we're looking at the legitimate species. So when there's no animals left, they can still fill zoo exhibits with, you know, people in costumes that'll work part-time when the zoo's open and then, you know, go home. They'll clock in, clock out in their costume, right? So it's species you're used to seeing in zoos, bears, giraffes, and all of that, and the costumes are really convincing, and maybe there's animatronic components to it, and this was their first attempt at trying to slip it in there to see if they were at a point where they could fool us with the costume. I don't think that's the case, but what if? What if it was? This was their first foray into like a alpha test, you know, seeing if the prototype's good enough to get people speculating on if it's a real bear or not, or if it's convincing enough that everyone assumes it's just a real sun bear. You know, it's just an interesting thought experiment. What could be the goal if it is a man in a bear costume? And that's the only conclusion I can come up with. Of course, it is not a man in a bear costume. It is most likely a very real sun bear, but who knows? You can't trust anyone. Not even bears. So, yeah, I just thought this was a fun little topic to go over briefly. That's really about it. See ya. Right now, we are living in the golden age of information. The collective knowledge of all of humanity is right at your fingertips on the World Wide Web, the magical cyberspace. And actually, it's become somewhat of an overload of information because you can always find evidence to support any belief you want to have. No matter how unhinged or how unrealistic it is, you can find entire communities of people backed up by their own proof that is convincing enough for them and maybe even you. It's just a matter of asking, typing it in on a search engine, and you can find unlimited information to confirm any belief you want. So, it's clearly led to a problem where people are believing everything and anything. And that's not exclusive to just like dumb people. I see that cope a lot where it's like, oh, only stupid people fall for things like flat earth or goblins. Like, believe it or not, there is a very real community of people that post goblin sightings in the real world. I'm not yanking your chain. It is a community of people that believe goblins walk amongst us, and they'll take these little videos at night of what I imagine is just like little like raccoons or something, and they're like, holy shit, it's a goblin ran across my front yard at 4 a.m. And the same community exists for gnomes. Gnomes have recently been popping off in popularity with people believing there are actually gnomes that walk amongst us. Giants, another one. We recently had a big giant hoopla where a TikToker thought he saw a giant on top of a mountain, and a lot of people believed it. Point is, anyone will believe anything, as long as they just want to, and they can always find evidence for it. And this extends to people that aren't just traditionally, observably stupid people. Anyone, regardless of their intelligence, can easily fall into this rabbit hole where if they hear something that sounds interesting, or maybe they just want to live in a fairy tale or, you know, escape from reality, believe in fantasies, they can easily find evidence to cement those beliefs and have them locked into actually thinking that it's real. And they just kind of fall for it, even if they are just like actually smart people. It can happen. And this extends to even people in power, like the president of Mexico, who recently made a statement about an elf, believing that he had found a real elf picture. And he proudly posted this so-called elf evidence, and my God, how beautiful it was. Did you see the president of Mexico posted a picture of an elf he saw? Is it like a confirmed elf sighting? Mexican president posts photo of what he claims is a Mayan elf. Well, I'll withhold judgment. Let me take a peek here. A mischievous woodland spirit in Maya folklore. Jesus Christ, he's found it. That looks more like one of the NPCs out of Destiny 2 than an elf. This is like the world's most demented elf. Why does it shit look like Darth Sidious up there? How the fuck is that an elf? In what universe? Like, even suspending disbelief, like, obviously this is clearly not anything paranormal or any kind of cryptid. But, like, in what universe would this even be misconstrued as an elf? This is not one of Santa's little helpers, I'll tell you that much. It's 100% an owl doing a hunched shoulder thing. Well, bah humbug to you too, Ebenezer Scrooge. I think this could very well be like a Jawa, perhaps, from Star Wars. Maybe he was disassembling the president of Mexico's car or something and then ran away when he heard him coming. Goatman returns. Oh, no. You don't get a picture of Goatman. If you're close enough to get a picture of Goatman, you're already dead. That guy does not fuck around. I think Goatman is the only cryptid with an actual confirmed kill, because some group of teenagers that was hunting down Goatman fell off a train track. One of the teenagers fell off and died because Goatman resides at the other end of a train track. One of them fell off and died. So Goatman does actually have a kill under his belt. Goatman is real and he ate my ass. Yeah, I believe it. That guy's a fucking pervert, honestly. Mothman? Too small to be Mothman, and there's no giant wings. We watched an entire breakdown on the lore of Mothman. This looks nothing like him. Unless he's wearing a hoodie. It also looks nothing like this. I like how he puts the side by side, though, as if it's supposed to be, like, definitive proof. Like, look! They're the same picture. It's the same thing. This looks like a Jimmy Neutron carving. According to the traditional Maya belief, Aluxes are small, mischievous creatures that inhabit forests and fields and prone to playing tricks on people, such as hiding things. Some people leave small offerings to appease them. Well, why would you leave small offerings? Wouldn't that just entice them to keep coming back for the offerings? That seems like a terrible plan. That just make them gluttonous. You're feeding them? Interesting. Hey, maybe the joke's on us. Maybe he's right. Maybe that really is a little elf. A little goofball up there. This picture is from 2 years ago. What? I thought he took the picture. I thought that was the whole point. You telling me this guy just Googled, like, Aluxes, whatever they're called? The fuck is the point of that? Massachusetts police on the hunt for a 200-pound stolen Shrek statue. Wow, that thing's beautiful. This is 200 pounds. This looks like someone made it out of clay in arts and crafts. I haven't read very much so far, but I'm going to tell you this feels like a psyop. I feel like this is all a big scam. They just wanted to get this in the headlines, so they made this knowing it's an abomination, a beautiful one at that, and they pretended that it's been stolen, reported it missing in order for all of the news agencies to pick up on it as a massive ploy. I see right through the scheme. Stolen by the deep state. Yeah. God damn it. The Illuminati's taking our Shrek statues.
What are your thoughts about the whole eclipse situation on April 8th? So many political and biblical theorists are going nuts about it. What the fuck are you talking about? What kind of... Like, I understand maybe going, like, rapture for that. Like, going down that path. We've seen that before. But what do you mean political theorists are going nuts over the eclipse? What could that possibly be in a political sense? What do you mean? It sounds like some absolute made-up nonsense on TikTok. How the eclipse ties into the Clintons or something. Bro, I work at a hospital and we're planning for it like it's the apocalypse. That is so concerning to hear. You work in a place of science. Why would you be planning for an eclipse like it's about to be doomsday? What? Okay, is there something special about the April 8th eclipse? What's happening? Is the Fire Nation about to attack with Sozin's Comet? Like, I'm so confused. What? It doesn't even seem like it's particularly special. I mean, here's... What not to do during the total eclipse on April 8th. Total solar eclipse on April 8th. Millions of people from Texas to Maine preparing for a once-in-a-lifetime event that want to ensure they enjoy it safely. Total solar eclipse happens when the moon passes between the sun and the earth, completely blocking the sun's face for up to several minutes. Do not look directly at the sun. You don't fucking say, huh? Except for the lucky people in the path of totality, it is not safe to look directly at the sun without proper eye protection, and sunglasses won't cut it. To safely view the total solar eclipse in 2024, you'll need glasses with solar filters, also known as eclipse glasses, or with handheld solar viewers. According to the American Astronomical Society, those glasses or handheld solar viewers need to meet the ISO 123122 international standard for direct sun viewing. Only when the sun is covered completely will it be safe to remove eclipse glasses, and they must go back on before the partial eclipse resumes and portions of the sun become visible again. Even if clouds obstruct your view during the April 8th total solar eclipse, special glasses or handheld viewers still need to be used. Cloud cover is not enough to protect your eyesight from the sun's rays. Classic fucking deep state trying to prevent me from getting superpowers from staring directly at this total solar eclipse. I'm not going to let the government dictate what I do and do not wear when looking directly at the sun. TikTok wasn't around in 2017, so we didn't get all the brain rot eclipse takes. Can someone... To the guy who said there's a lot of political theories regarding this total solar eclipse, can you send me one? Like tweet me one real quick so I can take a peek? Because what in the world? I don't understand. I can't even wrap my noodle around how that could make any sense. Employees at my dad's workplace said their local priest told them that the eclipse will result in 3 days of darkness, which is what allegedly starts the apocalypse. See, like, that kind of stuff I get. That happens all the time, anytime there's a solar eclipse. Like, there was that radio host who convinced his followers that rapture was coming in a month, so everyone quit their job, bought an RV, and went on a road trip and waited for themselves to die, be taken to heaven. And it didn't happen, and the radio host was like, damn. Must have got some wires crossed, I guess. Like, that happens all the time. Big thanks to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. You know how much I love Opera GX. If you ever tune into any of my streams, you'll see Opera GX exclusively being used because it's the browser I use for everything. I think it is the best in the business. It has tons of fun customization features to really make it feel like your own. It has a ton of really useful tools like a built-in ad blocker, which really comes in handy with the modern landscape of the internet, which is basically unusable without an ad block. And it has a lot of other really helpful tools, such as the ability to import your current settings from whatever browser you're currently using into Opera seamlessly, which makes it super simple, super seamless. Just very great
browser all around. It's also very light, so it's not going to be tanking your performance if you're playing games while having Opera open. You can keep all of your messaging apps in the Opera browser, so it's nice and convenient. Also, there is a mod for me in there. I have my own Opera GX mod, and it gives you a wallpaper and some really fun themed sounds around myself. Yeah, baby! So yep, I think it's good fun. The Critical Moist mod goes pretty hard. Again, big thanks to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. Definitely check them out in the description. Remember when the world was supposed to end in 2012? Yeah, but at least that one had, like, historical backing because of the Mayan calendar. I remember being a stupid kid back then, and I was like, man, the world really might end. Like, I get that. You go back and look at the Mayan calendar. They were very smart people. The calendar ends here. It must mean that's when the world ends. Pack it up, I guess. I was a freshman in college during that point, and I was still a virgin, and I was like, damn, it's gonna suck dying a virgin. I did everything I could to make love before that day came, the day of judgment. I used to go out every weekend praying for the best. But when that day rolled around in December of 2012, I spent that day playing Halo 4 with a buddy of mine, knowing that if I'm sailing into Valhalla, it's going to be in the saddest manner possible. The Eclipse is just Joe Biden's domain expansion. That's why there's political theories. Yeah, it's Dark Brandon. He's casting his infinite Tsukiyomi. So fucking cool. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if that is the level of the political theories on it. Oh wait, there was more to this. Solar eclipse travel could be treacherous. What, like driving at night? Like driving in some darkness? For those living in the narrow path of totality, little if any travel will be necessary to take in the full astronomical event. However, people across the US and likely the world will descend upon communities that aren't used to the popularity, and that has officials concerned. So much so that cities and towns have issued disaster declarations or declared states of emergency, while others have decided to close schools due to the expected increase in traffic and to keep kids safe from distracted drivers during dismissal time. I see. So this is why your hospital's prepping. Anticipating a bunch of fucking brain-dead zombies are just going to be too busy looking up at the sky and flooding areas that have like a totality view of it and just causing a ruckus and getting themselves hurt. I see now. You and the boys should make a video on who can look at the sun the longest during the eclipse. Actually, that's such a good idea. You know what we should do? We should do perineum tanning for it. That's the taint greasing, not taint greasing, the taint sunbathing, where you put your legs over your head and have your balls and shit facing the sun. I bet you'd get a crazy boost in testosterone from a total solar eclipse blasting you. Should have you be like the Hulk from gamma radiation or something. The sperm would go blind. Yeah, it'd be so powerful. I'm in the direct path, and certain drive-ins and movie theaters are holding little tailgating events. I like how we're talking about it like it's a fucking asteroid hurtling towards Earth. I'm in the direct path, meaning I'm in a really good spot to look up at the sky. Well, that's cute, though. That actually sounds wholesome. Please look up the red heifer cows. That's the issue. Wait, I actually know that. I actually know a little bit about that. But what does it have to do with the eclipse? I keep seeing people tripping about the eclipse and some red cow sacrifices. Some dude in Texas claiming to be a Christian sending cows to Israel for a Jewish sacrifice to usher on the rebuilding of the Third Temple. Pardon? I checked into it. Here are my thoughts if you care to listen. Take it with a grain of salt. I'm no expert. Can you even really be an expert on sacrificing red cows? It's nothing to be concerned with. There will be an eclipse and some extremists are going to kill some cows. If you're a conspiracy theorist and a Christian that was concerned, don't be. No man is going to get Jesus Christ to return. Only the Father will tell him when it's time. Nobody knows. So are we trying to summon Jesus? Is that what's going on? Like a ritual during the eclipse? Sacrificing red cows? No, this summons the Antichrist. Huh? No. Isn't the Antichrist, I think it's like a week before Doomsday or something, and it's supposed to be like a really powerful person presents himself, gains a lot of influence really quickly, and he's the Antichrist who ushers it all in or something. I don't think it has anything to do with the red heifer. So does this happen every eclipse and we just don't know about it? Great question, I don't know. They're actually doing it, look it up. Well, I have no doubt there's probably some people sacrificing red cows. Like that, I totally believe there's some craziness afoot with that. As we await... Oh, this happens every time. Yeah, wait, this is from 2017. As we await the eclipse of 2017 AD, this post examines the possibility that the dramatic repentance of... Yeah. So it looks like this does happen on every single eclipse. My mom told me to call off on eclipse day and get as much food and necessities as I can because she thinks there's going to be no light. It's like, I don't know, that's kind of cute. Like, I can't even fault her for that. That's just kind of cute, I guess. But I mean, we conquered the darkness already. We have the technology. So let's just assume the eclipse for some reason takes away all natural light. Brother, half the people in this stream right now haven't seen natural light in years because we have fucking light technology in our house. We'd be okay. We'd make it. But what about the plants? Fuck them. Who needs them? We conquered nature too. We'll eat... We'll find an alternative. We'll eat I don't know, filter feed or some shit. I don't know. We'd find something.
With the fact that God created our universe. I mean, their symbol does have 3 sixes in it. And you guys remember the photo I talked about earlier?
Oh.
This comes from their opening ceremony. You may be wondering, what even is that? As that is the head of the Baphomet. As you can see, it is a satanic symbol. The big question is, why would they have that at their opening ceremony?
Does CERN have opening ceremonies like it's the Olympics or something? What? I didn't know that. That's news to me. That opening ceremony looks out of this world, though. Is that the particle accelerator people are tripping over and saying that'll open a hole to another dimension or something? You're right and wrong. You're just getting a couple of different things confused. So when the LHC first got operational, there was a doomsday theory that by colliding particles at such a rapid speed, there was a small chance of creating a penny-sized black hole, which could eventually swallow the world. But that turned out to be a bunch of hullabaloo. As an engineer, it'd be so freaking sick if we were summoning demons or hopping dimensions or whatever, and not just calibrating sensors for hours. Yeah, I'd be happy to hear about that kind of stuff, different dimensions and shit. I feel like anyone would be excited about that. I don't know. We look at it as a bad thing. So what? A couple demons come through or something. We just close a portal on them. They don't have the technology in hell, clearly, and it confirmed the existence of hell, which would be a net positive for everyone, I would think. Then we'd know. Open my third asshole. Well, you're a little confused, but you've got the right spirit. That's a scientific mind right there. But anyway, come April 8th, get ready. The eclipse is coming and you can't stop it. And CERN's opening a portal on it or something. This week I saw something so baffling that it's really genuinely making me question if the human brain is devolving, becoming smoother, less wrinkles. It's the case of the TikTok giant. For those that don't know, there was a TikTok creator who filmed a giant, mysterious figure on top of a mountain. Was it Sasquatch? Was it the Loch Ness Monster? Perhaps Goatman? No. He claimed that he had seen a giant. And TikTok absolutely ate that up. They devoured it like it was a full course of spaghetti and meatballs. Not only TikTok, though, it then expanded to Twitter, where even more people started to believe that they had just seen irrefutable proof of a giant, because there was something on top of a mountain that was big. This whole thing is like a child believing the tooth fairy's real because when they put their tooth under their pillow, there's a quarter there. It is easily debunked and has been multiple times now, but then they just throw away the truth that's facing them because they prefer to live in the magic of there being giants walking amongst us here. It's a beautiful delusion, albeit very sad too, because people are also convinced that not only was this proof of a giant, it's proof that the CIA murdered the guy for filming the giant. I think people are at this point where they are legitimately believing everything as if we're back in the actual early ages of humans. I saw on TikTok and Twitter, this blew up, the TikTok giant. God, what was the guy's name though? There was a guy on TikTok who took a video of a mountain and there was a big figure on top of the mountain. It's like, oh shit, it's a giant. And then people believed it. They're like, we've seen the proof, the giants are real. And now the person behind the account's not posting. The person's gone missing. So they're like, the government must have got him and killed him for exposing the truth. It's so fucking crazy how, like, I actually think there have been irreparable damage done to the human brain because of TikTok. These are people, adults, actual adults. You know, why don't I just pull up the Twitter account that was talking about it? Talking about how it's the truth, there was really a giant there, we've known all along, and now that this guy blew the lid on it, the CIA got him and killed him. And then the guy leaned into it, he made this video about how it's all fake and it looked like a hostage video, and they're like, oh my god, irrefutable proof, you can see that the CIA is making him say these things. Where's the original post? Here's the, video in question, though. Andrew Dawson, thank you. Oh, it's a giant
person, dude. No, seriously, pull over, pull over.
I knew they were here. I've known all along the giants existed. They called me a fool. Also, it's dangerous to scroll in the comments, but I'm pretty sure, you know, I'm not even gonna bother with the Council of Cock being down there as a possibility. Someone went on, like, Google Earth. They went over that mountain, and it turns out it's just a tower. It's just legitimately just a tower. But that didn't dissuade the believers. So, what they're saying is they must have built the tower after this video came out in order to hide the truth that there was a giant there. I shit you not. That was their explanation for it being a tower over there. They said that they made it. They put that tower in place in order to obfuscate. But this is what's on the other side. I think the top comment on this is still, the government put that there in order to hide the truth. I'm gambling, but I think I'm right with this. Okay, not the one. You, another person that's trying to keep information no one cares about hidden. Everyone knows it was a giant, everyone still doesn't care. We care about the man being murdered for discovering it, though. We don't trust you. Isn't that crazy? They think the government killed this guy because he caught a video of a giant. That is the human brain in 2023. He did exactly what I told you guys I wanted to do with this whole gullible TikTok brain rot. Remember when I was telling you guys my plan of doing, like, haunted videos around the warehouse where, like, chairs move on their own? He did that with this. So after he got that video, he made this video, where he leaned into it, exactly what I said I would do in order to farm.
Sorry to disappoint you guys, but all of the videos that I posted were scripted. They were just fake. They were just strictly for it.
So, he leaned into it. He made this video like, it's all fake, you know, this and that, and he made it look like he was under duress. So people are like, clearly the CIA got to him. They're making him say these things. He did every single thing I said I would do with my farming of these fucking idiots. And they believe him fully. They believe he found a giant up here. And then the government killed him. It's so good. We live in an age where everyone has access to a video recording device at all times. Pretty much every nook and cranny of the world's been explored. And a fucking giant would be one of the hardest things to miss. And somehow, this is a confirmed giant. And it's just a coincidence that there happens to be a tower on the other side of this. Wholeheartedly believe it. This isn't even the biggest Twitter thread about it. There was a thread by this lady who's in her early 30s talking about how the government can't be trusted because they're killing us for finding the truth of things they don't want us to know about, citing this video as an example of the giant. And I believe the same woman also started talking about how they're killing people who are finding gnomes. But I may be getting her confused with someone else that was talking about it. People legitimately are believing in fairy tales again. We're going so far backwards. Charlie working for the government. I'm trying to keep you guys from the truth. You're not ready for giants. Those fucking bastards. Filthy monsters they are. I'm doing you a favor. You're not ready to... You can't handle it. Now, looking into it, there was an obituary posted for this individual from a local news source.
So it is possible that he did pass away in early 2022, but people are attributing that death to a mysterious circumstance and it being the CIA that took him out, like it was fucking Jack Bauer on a vendetta to kill this man because he had seen a giant. Why? Well, I don't know. That's not a question that ever gets asked in these situations. Just going through any natural thought process here and breaking it down, what would the government have to gain from hiding giants? Unless they have some kind of secret alliance with the giant tribe, there's just absolutely no reason they'd want to shut this shit down, put the kibosh on it. Or unless if you look at a giant in the eyes, it gives you eternal life or something and the government's hoarding that to themselves, or their urine acts like the fountain of youth. Just nothing adds up here when you start connecting the dots. This isn't like a Men in Black situation where they're hiding aliens by going around and neuralizing everyone who sees alien activity, where the excuse there is they don't want people to panic. When it comes to giants, that'd be the hardest thing in the world to keep the lid on. Like the cat would get out of the bag so quickly, because it's a fucking giant. They're huge. They're enormous. This one, assuming Patient Zero here was truly a giant, this one was spotted on top of a mountain fucking 40 miles away. So you'd have a real tough time. You'd have your work cut out for you to keep that under wraps. It just, like, and even if there were giants, the existence of them probably wouldn't cause a panic on the same level as, like, aliens or anything. There's absolutely no reason for the government to be hiding the existence of giants. And I can't believe I even have to say that. I feel like I'm having a conversation with, like, the D&D club at a middle school.
I think that's that same vehicle from... Hey!
Now let's break down this little humdinger here. People use this video as proof that the CIA was hunting him down and stalking him because he made this video. He's very clearly leaning into it if you ask me. But let's do a basic thought experiment here. How likely is it that this is staged? Very. It got millions of views, so there's real incentive to play on it. How easy would it be to fake? Extremely. All you need is your friend to sit in a car outside and then drive away when you come out and yell at them. Like, just look at the video. There's just a random car out there with their lights on. So if they're stalking, they're doing a terrible job. They're just sitting right in plain view outside of his house with their lights on. That'd be the worst tale ever. They would be fired from the CIA immediately because they're fucking terrible at their job. Like, at that point, the CIA might as well have a sign out there saying, "We're watching you. Honk if you like government surveillance." Like, this would be genuinely the worst stalking ever from the CIA. And then the guy comes outside and scares the car away like a flock of pigeons on the beach. It's an extremely easy thing to stage. Where's the proof that that is some kind of unmarked CIA vehicle and an operative in there stalking him? The video just starts where he looks out the blinds and the car's already just sitting there in front of his house with his lights on. I think this is so clearly staged in order to play off of the success of the giant video, because it got a lot of attention and a lot of engagement. Now, he hasn't posted on TikTok since 2022, and like I said, there is an obituary posted in a local news source, so it is very possible he did pass away, but I will tell you right now, I highly, highly, highly doubt the government had anything to do with that. Because, again, there's no such thing as fucking giants out there. Sorry to ruin Christmas, but it's the truth. It's a tough pill to swallow, but one you've got to grow up and take right now. I would love if there were giants out there. No one would be happier than me. I would absolutely be ecstatic to learn that giants really are out there and they're coming back. You know, and then they start their own sports league or something. It'd be amazing. I'd be super excited about that. I'd also love if there was a such thing as psychics and telekinetic abilities, as well as being able to form a Kamehameha ball in the palm of my hands if I focus real hard. I would love all of that kind of fantasy shit to be real. But it's not. So there's just nothing the government would do here about a man filming a video claiming he saw a giant, because giants aren't real. So they're not gonna fucking care. It's not like he actually exposed a government secret. They'd have no reason to go silence him. This is just a wild case of people believing anything and everything they see, for no reason other than they have fun believing it. And then they fight tooth and nail for it, even when they are faced with the absolute truth of what the situation is. It's wild. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's about it. See ya. I'm sure by now the majority of you know that I fucking love conspiracy theories. I love to just spread a conspiracy theory's cheeks wide open as far as possible and just dive in and get to the meat of it and really see what it's all about, see if maybe there's any truth to it. I just love it. And luckily my nipples have been tickled thoroughly thanks to a brand new conspiracy theory popping off online about Wayfair trafficking human beings, children, through their website. I haven't been this interested in a conspiracy theory since the Berenstein Bears versus the Berenstein Bears multiversal collapse theory. This is an incredible conspiracy theory and I can't wait to share it with all of you and present my findings. Spoiler alert, this is a pretty fucking wacky one. This one's like believing in reptilians or believing that Jesus Christ died because of Fortnite or something. This one is fucking insane. So let's go ahead and start at the beginning. This conspiracy theory developed on the home of intellectuals, Reddit. It was blown open by someone on Reddit presenting some evidence that these expensive cabinets had names that matched missing children's reports. And from this, people started to just spiral out of control. Wow, oh wow, this is fucked up, this is weird. Why are these cabinets so expensive? And why does it have the name of a missing child? And there's cabinets that look identical with different names on them that all correspond to a missing child report. And it's not just cabinets, there's also pillows that are like $10,000 that also have the names that correspond to a missing child on them. And the question arose, well, why are they so expensive? And when there's other products similar to it, why are they like $30 versus the $10,000 for this one pillow with this weird name on it? So people then started to connect the dots. They started to see the strings that hold the universe together and really piece together the truth. And they came to the conclusion that people must be sex trafficking children through Wayfair, obviously, as any rational conclusion would lead you to. And when I first heard it, I was like, yeah, it's kind of fucking weird, right? Like, why are these cabinets so expensive? And a pillow, I'm not paying $10,000 for a pillow unless it's coming with 15 strippers or something and a nice giant fucking birthday cake. I mean, why is it worth $10,000? And then I decided to look into it today, and it goes deep. This is a fucking rabbit hole. I mean, Tom Hanks comes into play here. Tom Hanks is apparently like the Thanos of Wayfair sex trafficking. Like, it's weird. So first and foremost, for those that don't know, Wayfair is a website where you can buy furniture and just like household shit. Typically supposed to be affordable things, but recently people noticed that there's this extremely expensive shit like this here that has a name that matched a missing person. Or so they thought. It turns out the majority of the people that they've used in their examples in this conspiracy are children that have been found, and a lot of these kids, they themselves have come forward and said, hey, look, I'm not actually missing.
And then he gonna put his little, why is your caption even that? That don't even make sense. If you posting motherfuckers who actually missing, you trying to get motherfuckers to share the shit, what are y'all talking about? Y'all all sound stupid talking about why am I mad? Because I'm not missing. Fuck out of here.
Now, a lot of people in the comments on Twitter and on Instagram that I've seen were actually attacking the girl in the video I just showed you, saying that she must be in on it. You know, she must have just broken out of the cabinet she was sold in and is being forced at gunpoint to say these things, which is really weird to just start attacking her for being upset that people are perpetuating the idea that she was literally sold into sex slavery. That's a pretty fucking bold thing to say. That'd be something that'd make me mad if people were like, hey, Charlie, I remember when he was 14 years old, he was sold into sex slavery. I'd be like, hey, wait a minute. No, it wasn't. And that's kind of a mean thing to say. That just didn't happen. But people are so wrapped up in this conspiracy theory, they don't care that it was just outright disproven that this girl is not missing, nor she was sold in the cabinet. They just fall into this delusion and this crazy amount of denial where that doesn't matter. No. See, in fact, this actually proves our point because she's clearly being held on a UFO that ordered this cabinet from Wayfair, and now they've mind-controlled her to say these things, so obviously it proves that we're right and all kinds of crazy bullshit. It's like a shitty B-movie plot. And it's not just this girl that was revealed to not be missing, nor has ever been, like, sold in a cabinet. A lot of the popular pictures that were circulating, you could look up those kids and then find stories about when they were found earlier. Like, they were never in a Wayfair, you know, shipment facility or anything like that. Like this kid here with this pillow. People speculated that the pillow must not have any stuffing in it. It was stuffed with the kid's bones and blood. When it turns out, no, you know, this kid was found quite a while ago. And now just because a lot of the kids were found and were never shipped through the evil laboratory of Wayfair or anything like that, it didn't stop the conspiracy theory. That didn't halt it in its tracks. People still believed it. And that's fine. You know, maybe there was isolated cases like, oh, we were wrong here. That doesn't mean the whole thing's wrong. Just because these were false doesn't mean it's all false. But it does because, I mean, you can actually prove exactly why it's all wrong. We won't even go into Wayfair's official statement, we'll get to that in a second, but let's just use some common sense here. I believe the statistic is 1,250 missing kids are reported every day, 500,000 every year, something like that, in that general ballpark.
That's a lot of fucking names. That's a ton of fucking names. You could probably find some like Xbox Live gamertag level names in a sample size that big. Like fucking XX Shadow Slayer went missing a year ago. And you could find like an XX Shadow Slayer Wayfair pillow that's $9,000, I bet. It's a lot of names is what I'm saying. So it's not impossible that these companies chose a random name that happened to correspond to someone who went missing. And a lot of them are very common names. There's one that was circulating on Twitter that was Annabelle. Annabelle's a super fucking common name, and they just took that Annabelle listing of an expensive cabinet and matched it up with an Annabelle that was missing. You know, that's not a good connection. It's a very common name. That's clearly something that could happen on accident. But then there are those like really specific ones like I showed you with that boy and that pillow. But even that kid was found. He wasn't missing and he wasn't ever stuffed inside of a pillow like some kind of crazy fucking Frankenstein experiment. He was just found. So it's not unfathomable that these random names they chose just coincided with kids that were missing at some point. But why were they so expensive? That's the biggest question. Why the fuck are these mediocre items so expensive? And I found the answer, or at least the answer the government, the man, wants us to see, I suppose, if you still want to subscribe to the conspiracy. A lot of resellers, what they'll do, when the item is out of stock, they jack the price up to an absurd level that they know nobody's going to try and buy, so that way they can keep it listed, as opposed to saying it's out of stock and taking it off listing. They jack the price up, they hold its spot until it's back in stock, and then they drop it back down. That's the tactic I saw a lot of people talking about that actually use Wayfair. That's what they were saying is commonly done there. I think that's a dumb practice, and Wayfair themselves have cracked down on it, it seems. Wayfair's statement says, you know, that obviously it's all wrong, but we did take these down because the names and the pictures don't exactly match why they're as expensive as they are, and the practices or some shit like that. It wasn't a great statement that did nothing to help their case in it being false. It just made it even more confusing because they just took the shit down, which made a lot of people believe that Wayfair was admitting guilt and hiding something. But according to a lot of people that use Wayfair, it's not something uncommon where they jack this price up to a point where no one's going to buy it just so they can hold their listing. And that does make sense. It makes a lot more sense than fucking pedophiles using Wayfair to sex traffic children. Are there sex trafficking rings from like extremely wealthy, powerful people? Abso-fucking-lutely. Yeah, there's a ton of evidence to point to that. But I highly doubt they're operating through Wayfair. That's like saying these people are using, fucking Twitch to start trafficking children through an XQC chat. You know, it doesn't make any sense. Why would they be using something like that to do some shit like that? They'd be using the dark web or something. They wouldn't be going on fucking Wayfair just in the public's eye right under their nose like some kind of comical supervillain trying to fool everyone by doing everything in broad daylight. That just wouldn't happen. These are public listings. Someone could have accidentally ordered one of these expensive items. What's going to happen? They buy this cabinet and then all of a sudden they have a kid shipped to them. They open the box and then bang, a kid pops out and they're just fucking jump scared. Oh, whoa. Where's my cabinet? That's just not how it would happen. In fact, I actually tried to test this myself. I went on Wayfair with every intention of buying one of those $10,000 pillows that matched the name of a missing kid, and I was like, shit, this is going to be expensive as fuck. I'm either going to get a terrible pillow or I'm going to save a kid's life. It's worth it. But I couldn't place the order because the fucking item didn't exist, which made me more convinced that, yes, this is probably just a common practice where when the item isn't in stock and it's not there, they just jack the price up, hoping nobody places an order or tries to, and wait until it's back in stock to drop it back down, just so they don't lose listing. This is another thing I saw develop today, actually. A lot of people saying that the CEO of Wayfair has resigned. Well, the problem with that is it's not true. He hasn't resigned. There's no reports of him resigning. Unless this Twitter account right here is like working with the, NSA or some shit, the CIA, and he's got some insider information, then I don't know what to tell you. But according to every possible fucking source, the guy has not resigned. He is still the CEO of Wayfair. So this is just an outright lie. Now we get to the main course. Everything I just told you about this conspiracy and all that shit, just an appetizer. Now it's time for the entree. And trust me, it's not raw. This is coming out well done. Tom Hanks, the puppet master. Beloved actor? No. Demon. Fiend. Tom Hanks has been roped into all of this because of one old Instagram post. This right here. It's a picture of a glove next to some chalk that says SRC USA or something similar. That's what it looks like. And this post right here is a very suspicious one. Now, admittedly, this is a weird fucking Instagram post. I don't know why Tom Hanks would just take a picture of a glove on the ground next to some fucking street chalk or anything like that. But it's correlation to everything going on here. People, Reddit detectives and Twitter experts, the analysts, they were able to crack the code
They realized if you type in a lot of the item numbers onto a Russian search engine called Yandex, it brought up pictures of children. So if you typed in SRC USA and a bunch of numbers, it brings up pictures of children on a Russian search engine. So they speculated these were pictures of the kids that were being sold in those cabinets, or being sold with the cabinets. It varies depending on who you talk to on whether or not the kids were actually stuffed in the furniture or just came with it or something. It's, you know, as like some kind of package deal, like batteries included or something. It varies on who you talk to, but that was the speculation. You know, you type in this shit, you do it on the Yandex, and you get an image of what you're buying or some shit like that. And Tom Hanks has this really weird picture that does have something that looks like it says SRC USA. Except in this case, it goes so far above Tom Hanks, it's laughable. This is bigger than Tom Hanks. This goes all the way to the top. This incriminates the construction and utility workers. You see, SRC USA is construction utility code for Underground Service Alert. It's to let other workers know that, hey, at this location, with these, you know, the white brackets in chalk there you can see, there is something that runs underneath the pavement, whether it be a power line, cable, water, it doesn't matter. There's something running underneath there, so just be aware. You can find this shit marked on streets all over the place. It's not something unique to Tom Hanks. I don't think he went out there with sidewalk chalk and wrote SRC USA to brag and then threw a glove on the ground. It's a stupid fucking picture. It's a weird, like, creepy little picture. The caption was like, give me a high five or something. I don't know. It's a weird picture. You're not going to argue that. But that right there is just an extremely common thing that you can see probably outside of your own house right now if you want to experiment. It's nothing unusual because it's actual just construction utility code. And that pretty much sums up Tom Hanks' involvement because of that one Instagram post. I don't think it goes any deeper than that I could find. But just because that's wrong doesn't mean the whole thing's wrong. I mean, Tom Hanks could still be this evil mastermind behind all of it. I don't know, he could pull in the strings. Maybe he has equity in Wayfair. I couldn't tell you. But in this case, I don't think Wayfair is selling human beings through their website. I don't think that's what's going on here. But again, just because everything about this conspiracy theory is wrong doesn't mean the conspiracy theory is wrong, you know? It's 2020, baby. We believe anything, whether or not it's factually true or not. Who gives a fuck? And that's about it. So yeah. You all know I'm a big fan of conspiracy theories as long as they're harmless, fun ones such as, you know, reptilians controlling the world, talking about like zippers on the sides of some powerful people's necks that reveal a giant lizard underneath the human skin suit. Flat Earth is always a classic fun one to play with. But then there's they're very dangerous ones, and I think one of them that's really taking a huge upswing in the amount of people that believe it is 5G causing the coronavirus. A month ago, this was a fucking joke across the entire internet. But now, in the last month, everyone's quarantined, locked down, desperate, bored, and I think they're getting fucking dumber. Because there's so many people that are now unironically believing 5G is the cause of coronavirus that I actually can't believe it. These same people probably believe chocolate milk comes from brown cows. It takes mere minutes of research outside of Facebook anti-vax groups, actual scientific research. It takes only minutes to immediately disprove that and find there's no connection between 5G towers and coronavirus. That shouldn't be shocking to the majority of people, but to some people, I'm speaking blasphemy. I am a puppet of the Illuminati to some people for saying that, because these people see the truth. These high school dropouts that failed every fucking course, no, they're the ones that understand the 5G connection to coronavirus. Not the scientists, not the experts. These fucking limp-dicked fucking idiots sitting in their basement for fear that the government's listening to them through their alarm clock so they have a tinfoil hat and condom on. Those are the real intellectuals. And they're spreading this kind of shit on the internet, which is laughable and it's fun to make fun of. But now they're starting to set cell phone towers on fire? It's fucking crazy. It's getting actually dangerous now. So, how did this start? I'm not here to be a fucking science professor, so I'm not going to tackle every angle of this. I'm just going to point out the most common and the most obvious fallacies in this logic of 5G being the coronavirus culprit, the one that's really controlling it all, and how the government, big brothers, got us under their thumb. They don't want us to see the earth is really flat, so they're using coronavirus to keep us inside and erect more 5G towers. We'll start with the origin of this conspiracy, at least in regards to coronavirus. In China, Wuhan, a 5G tower was rolled out at the end of 2019, so just a little bit before coronavirus broke out, and people are attributing the tower as the cause. That is ground zero of coronavirus. The tower caused it. That's pretty much where that logic ends. And then as it spread to the United States, they're saying the 5G towers are the cause of coronavirus in the US. Not because it's contagious through, spreading and being around people, but because the towers themselves are emitting too much radiation and it's causing the coronavirus, and the coronavirus itself isn't even real. It's a made-up hoax to cover for radiation poisoning. I've spent a few hours researching the conspiracy theory and looking around what everyone says on Twitter in these circles that truly believe this stuff, and they seem to all agree that coronavirus itself isn't real. What it is just radiation sickness, because the symptoms of radiation sickness are similar to those that are being reported with coronavirus. So that's basically the whole conspiracy in a nutshell. And it is fucking ridiculous. So 5G towers have existed in the US since early 2019. While the idea of 5G has existed much longer, and most people seem to think we've had 5G for longer, we really didn't start getting 5G until early 2019 with actual towers and everything being built around the US. Those aren't make-believe. That's not like Tooth Fairy shit. It's real. You can go see those 5G towers in the real world in person. It's not smoke and mirrors, no magic tricks. That shit is there, and it has been there since 2019. There were no cases of coronavirus in the US throughout all of 2019. And there were no cases of coronavirus in the US until the China incident where coronavirus started to explode. And then, you know how the story goes from there. It spread throughout the entire world. But they seem to think that it's not actually spreading from human to human contact. It's being transmitted via the beams from the towers of 5G. That seems to be their accepted belief. I'm going to immediately poke a hole in that. Israel has 7,400 cases of coronavirus with 39 dead. Israel has no 5G towers. None. So how the fuck can that happen by this logic? Some enlightened Twitter users will be quick to point out that the radiation sickness was transferred. Someone who was infected by a tower in the US or some other part of the world traveled to Israel and started spreading it that way. Well, that's impossible via your radiation sickness hypothesis, because radiation sickness isn't contagious. You watched Chernobyl on HBO and you think you understand everything there is to know about radiation. Well, I'll tell you one thing Chernobyl got wrong. You are not some kind of walking fucking virus with radiation sickness. If someone you know has radiation sickness, they cannot transfer that onto you. If their entire fucking clothes, their entire wardrobe is covered in dense radiation and they try and suffocate you with that, maybe. But as a whole, radiation sickness itself is not contagious. So you'd have to immediately throw out the radiation sickness hypothesis because it wouldn't be able to spread. It'd have to be coronavirus, which does exist and is very, very contagious, which is why people are being ordered to stay inside. If it was radiation poisoning, radiation sickness, it wouldn't matter if you were around 1,000 people. No one is going to catch that from you. It's easy to poke 1,000 different holes into this 5G coronavirus conspiracy. You can turn this shit into a fucking pincushion because it is so weak. But so many people still believe it just because I think they want to. They want to believe it's something bigger, like some grand conspiracy, just the man trying to keep them down or something. It's so silly. If you look into it yourself, it's going to be hard not to laugh at it because the leaps and these conclusions they draw are so nonsensical. It's ridiculous. I just picked two quick ones to point out because those are the two most obvious ones that they have really no answer for that I've seen. And I'm sure there's going to be some comments on the video that immediately disregard shit and still try and promote the idea that 5G coronavirus thing is real, which is just pathetic. But anyway, I know I don't need to poke holes in it because it's already so goddamn silly if you even look at it for a second. I don't like having to be your fucking science teacher here. I graduated from university with a human sciences degree, so I do understand a lot of this stuff. Granted, I'm not as brushed up on the whole field as I used to be, because, I barely fucking use that knowledge anymore. But I do get it, and I understand where this fear comes from. You're locked inside, you're desperate, you're looking for answers, and you have no idea what else to turn to. So Twitter has this giant fucking platform full of lunatics that seem to believe this and are promoting it as a real thing. And since you're constantly on Twitter with nothing else to do besides jerk off and read garbage Twitter posts, you see this and you start to accept it. I get it, and I'm not blaming those people. But it is a very dangerous thing to just blindly follow this shit with no science and not doing any research on it at all. Now, what I do find interesting is there is a community of real scientists that are apprehensive about 5G's implementation and the future of 5G and what health implications it could have down the line. The conspiracy side of things is using this to promote the idea that scientists are afraid of it and they think that the scientists believe that it caused coronavirus. That couldn't be further from the truth. None of those scientists that are afraid of 5G's implications down the line have said anything about it being coronavirus related, which is what I'm focusing on. The scientists' main concern is they haven't been able to study the long-term health effects of what 5G could do in the future. There's nothing about coronavirus or anything like that. This community just wants a little more research done on 5G before it's implemented, and they think it's perhaps a bit rushed. It has nothing to do with the fucking scientists thinking that it's the cause of coronavirus. Again, this isn't a small community either. If you look up any 5G video on YouTube right now, it's overwhelmingly disliked with thousands of comments saying, "This is bullshit, don't trust them, rise up sheeple, it's time we take back our lives, don't let them control our minds, you know, don't let anyone tell you what to believe," as they're being told what to believe by somebody else. You know, I'm all for questioning the media and questioning sources and doing a lot of research to form your opinions, but I find it seriously hypocritical how this community keeps saying, "Don't trust anyone, but trust me." It makes no sense. Like, don't listen to anyone, don't let anyone tell you what to believe, as they're being told what to believe by some dude in his shit-stained underwear in a chat room somewhere. It's fucking silly. It's very hypocritical. Again, I'm all for questioning things you see in the media and online. I think that is the most healthy thing you can do. But when you start just entering an echo chamber and only looking up things that support what you want to believe, you're not getting anywhere and you're only making the problem worse. Now, I'm only focusing on the coronavirus aspect of this conspiracy theory. It goes much deeper with 5G. 5G itself is a rabbit hole for a crazy amount of conspiracies, especially on YouTube. For some reason, it seems a lot of YouTubers and YouTube commenters really believe that 5G is this ultimate boogeyman, like this final boss that's holding back the human species. Like, 5G is the one that's keeping us from growing wings and opening our third eye. It's weird. I don't know why everyone's latched on to 5G as this mega evil mastermind shit, but they have. But in regards to coronavirus, which is all I want to focus on, there is absolutely no possible way that 5G has caused coronavirus. You can just look at data, like real time, because it's only been a couple of months. You can see that 5G had no role to play. You can pretty much trace where coronavirus started in each area that it's in. It's right there at your fucking fingertips. You only need to look for a second in real, actual fucking sources outside of bad Twitter shitposts, anti-vax Facebook soccer mom groups. Just do real fucking research and form your own opinions, but this one is very silly, and lighting 5G cell phone towers on fire isn't doing anyone any good. You're causing more damage with the chemicals you put into the air from fucking burning that thing than the 5G arrays, the beams. This fear of cell phones and networking has existed for as long as communication has, and it's always been ridiculous. It's always been silly and laughable, but Twitter is the place that now, no matter how outlandish and how ridiculous a belief is, it's going to blow up and it's going to have a big movement behind it. It doesn't matter what it is. Like on Twitter, for example, there's whole communities of people that fuck dogs. Like this community that would never find a home anywhere finds a home on Twitter, and there's thousands of them. There's pages on Twitter that actively talk about fucking their dog and have tens of thousands of followers that all support that and do the same thing. It's absolutely fucking disgusting. So then you'll have these people that believe that cell phones are the evil, dangerous thing, and you'll have people that just want to feel like they're smarter than everyone else. You know, they're the ones that saw the truth, peeked behind the curtains and got the truth. So they'll believe these things, they'll spread it on Twitter, and then people that are gullible, bored, or just susceptible to misinformation start believing it, start getting real riled up, and then it leads to just absolute chaos, and that leads to setting a 5G tower on fire for no fucking reason. It's just crazy shit. I don't get why people are targeting 5G for coronavirus specifically, because there's really nothing there. The only piece of evidence that's even remotely true is that there was a 5G tower built in Wuhan a couple months before coronavirus outbreak. There's another thing I see tossed around how this one's just so fucking stupid. This community plotted out every major pandemic or every major flu and correlated it to mobile towers and networking, as if that has any correlation at all. So they have like the Spanish flu and then world's first prototype mobile network. Coincidence? No, I don't think so. And there's like 6 of these and it says 6 coincidences? That's impossible. It's just so fucking stupid. You can go through history and correlate every single one of those pandemics or flus to something else too. You know, peanut butter sandwiches invented in 1914. 4 years later, Spanish flu. Interesting. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches start getting packaged in the, the next one. It's just dumb. This is just such fucking terrible research and evidence.
and yet people are believing it at face value, probably just out of boredom from quarantine. But I just wanted to talk about it because it's got me fucking fired up, because this shit is just wacky. This isn't the same kind of fun to laugh at conspiracy theory like flat earth and all that. This one has people believing it's fine for them to go outside and just spread fucking shit all over the place, especially in a time of pandemic like this, because they're convinced they know the truth that it's the cell phone towers, not coronavirus, so then it has them hurting everyone around them. I think it's just terrible. So I just wanted to talk about that. That's it. See ya.